and welcome. You're watching FYI. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. Now, if you are somebody who's staying on rent or somebody who's a landlord giving your place out for rent, then today's program is for you because your life is about to change, all thanks to the new Model Tenancy Act, which is now in place. But what exactly does it mean? What is there in this new Model Act for landlords, for tenants? We'll be taking you through all of that. So without any further ado, let's get into our explainer. First, what is this act all about? Well, the act really proposes a complete overhauling of the legal framework of rental housing across the country. Many have even called it a game changer. It was of course approved by the government on the 2nd of June 2021, and the new law is a model law, which basically means it has been prepared with the objective of balancing, well, that's what the definition is in the law that has been floated, that it is to balance out the interests and rights of both landlords and tenants and to create an accountable and transparent ecosystem for renting the premises in a disciplined and more efficient manner. Now, who doesn't want that, right? But why is it called a Model Act and what does it really mean? Well, this means that it provides a prototype of a law that states and union territories can adopt completely with changes or even not adopt at all. How come? Well, the reason behind that is that issuing such a Model Act and not passing a binding law is that the Parliament cannot pass a binding law. In this case, land, remember, falls as a state list and of the 7th schedule according to the Article 347 of the Constitution. That means state governments have exclusive powers to make laws on subjects in the state list. So what exactly was the need? What is the reason for the genesis of this act? Let's look into that first. Well, it aims to formalize the shadow market of rental housing, unlock vacant properties, so many of them at the moment in the country, increase rental yields, ease and remove the exploitative practices, and also reduce procedural barriers in registration as well. And again, it is aimed at increasing transparency and discipline. How exactly does it plan to do this? What will change? Well, any new rental deals now must be a written agreement. States, if they choose to implement it as is, would need to set up a tracked grievances redressal mechanism consisting of the rent authority or the rent court and the rental tribunal, that is. Disposal of these grievances must be done in a time-bound manner, and that time is 60 days only. Let's look at the price ceiling over here. Well, that will be removed completely. That's a big game changer. Digital platform, that is another game changer for uploading and keeping a tab on rental agreements in several languages as well, not just in English. Subletting, another game changer, will be the discretion of the landlord. Structural changes to the premises will need prior written consent from the landlord. And security deposit, well, in residential places, a maximum of 2 months rent, and in non-residential, minimum of 1 month's rent, maximum of 6 months. That leeway has been given. When it comes to repairs and maintenance, this is an area which at the moment falls really in the grey zone. Nobody really knows how it works and a lot of push and pull happens. Well, the Act lists that who is responsible for what kind of changes. In case of non-compliance, the amount will be deducted from the security deposit of the tenant and rent for the landlord as well. On the whole, the repair of the overall structure, that means plumbing system and wiring, is the responsibility of the landlord. Repair in individual spots like taps, switches are the responsibility of the tenants. Evictions, another key reason of worry for a lot of landlords. Well, the Act defines that as well, and this will be done only in case of misuse of premises as decided by the rent court. The case of tenant does not vacate, the landlord can levy twice the rent for the next month and 4 times the rent thereon. And they also define what exactly is misuse. It means public nuisance, it means damage, use of immoral or illegal purposes as well. And then what about force majeure? Meaning an unforeseeable circumstances in which somebody cannot fulfill the contract. Well, that it says in such cases the tenant will be allowed to stay for a month since the end of the event. So those are some of the key features over there, but let's also give you some key takeaways for what's in it for landlords and tenants. The key objective, remember, again, is to build trust between the landlords and tenants because it clearly defines their obligations. For tenants, for example, the security deposit will be paid and should not exceed 2 months rent. In residential properties, like I said, 6 months rent in case of non-residential properties as well. Landlord cannot cut power, water when there is a dispute, something that we see happen a lot in India. When it comes to the part of the landlords, however, they cannot sublet to someone else without permission, and they can charge double rent for 2 months post expiry as well. They can enter property on rent after 24 hours of notice, however. So those were the key takeaways on how this game changer really new act has been floated. What will happen, which states will adopt, in what form, that remains to be seen.